Hello and welcome to a very special Cat's Whiskers podcast. If you don't know, the Nottingham Panthers are the first UK Continental Cup champions, having beaten Britain 4-1 in this evening's game to take the title with 8 points in the round-robin tournament. Joining me, Jono Bullard, for this very special show are Paul Balm.
Hello.
Antoine Marie-Jeanne.
Good evening.
Aaron Lord.
Hello.
Andy Haywood.
Evening.
And last but not least, Tina Taylor.
Hiya!
As you can tell, we are all incredibly happy. If you can hear a bit of noise, Ant is in the Bunkers Hill Inn, aren't you, mate?
I am. There's a handful of people in here. We're all celebrating.
Superb. I'm celebrating with a pint of water at the minute. Rock and roll lifestyle that I lead. But I'm sure we are all absolutely delighted. And it's just going to be a quick reflection of what happened this evening, what it means for the Panthers and what it may mean for British hockey. And we'll go into the detail of the matches on tomorrow night's podcast as usual, which will be live at 8:45pm. However, for this one, I'll come to you, all of you in turn. You know, how do you feel, Paul? As you said, you wasn't too confident before the start of the game.
Of course, I wasn't.
How do you feel now?
I'm reasonably happy. I'm slightly dumbfounded. Only slightly dumbfounded because nobody can ever actually say that they're lost for words and actually be lost for words. I think the Panthers themselves have summed it up for me. We were the lowest seeded team left in the competition this weekend, and we've pulled something off. Tonight has changed British ice hockey. I can hear all the detractors going, "It's changed nothing. It's devalued." I couldn't give them monkeys, frankly. They would all have swapped places with us in a heartbeat, but they can't. And, the thing that just struck me, one thing that just struck me just now as I was thinking about what I was actually going to say, and I'm actually halfway through I just started writing my article for this week as well, you'd be pleased to know, Jono, is that, let me ask you a question. Who holds the current world record for running 1 mile?
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Who did it first?
Roger Bannister.
That's my point. They can't take that away from us. And, yeah.
Good point. Tina, I can imagine you're tippity top.
Just a little bit, yeah. just smidgen. I mean,
is that some character from In the Night Garden or something?
Yeah, well, I get to watch a lot of that these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not being a parent, that just went straight over my head. So I just assumed it meant, "Are you feeling okay?" And Jono's just decided to start using lots of made-up words because the thesaurus just ain't big enough. He's just, yeah. I mean, I'm lucky enough, to only remember a winning record for the Nottingham Panthers. Generally speaking, while I've been supporting the team, there's been a trophy pretty much every year, but this trophy is massive. It's like Paul says, we're the first. There's other teams that have entered the competition. We've entered the competition before and never got this far, but we've gone through. We've got an extra round to everybody else that we've played this weekend. It's just, yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, the only one regret I have about it is that slugs got into my kitchen and I couldn't afford to go. I had to have my kitchen done instead of going to Italy. I would have loved to have been out there.
Talking of slugs, we'll come to Aaron and.
Oh, I did not set that up. I am not having any part in that.
No, only joking. Aaron, I can imagine you're absolutely delighted because it was coming across on the WhatsApp group.
We've upset him.
Oh, is Aaron there?
Yes, I am. Yes.
So I just had to
take in.
It takes him longer.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, I can't really add too much from what Paul and Tina said, but yeah, absolutely buzzing You know, I was confident going into it. I thought that we would win it, and
you did. I will give you that. You said we would.
Do you know what? And I think we've won it not at a canter, but we've been by far the best team, and we deserve to win it. And I tweeted something earlier. You know, a little bit what Tina says about the rounds. We've had to play an extra round. We've gone to 3 countries. We've played 545 minutes, and we've had 9 victories, and that has resulted in us being the first British team to win this competition. And I'll only back up what kind of Paul said. There will be people out there that'll go, oh, what a load of tosh. It's not been the same competition since the CHL and all that lot. I'm sorry, but haters will always hate. That's BS. Because as Paul said, they would love for their team to be us tonight. And, you know, deep down, they'll know that, but they'll go on social media and say what they want to say and, you know, try and devalue what we've achieved. But the real hockey fans that understand it and get British ice hockey will know that what we've done tonight is massive, not just for our organisation, but for the league as a whole. And, you know, just immensely proud of everybody in that organisation, the coaches, the players. You know, it's just been an amazing effort, and one that we set out to do. You know, it felt like we really focused on this competition and says, you know what, we're not just going to take part, we're going to go and win it. And, you know, that is what is obviously very, very pleasing. So it's just a great feeling.
Yeah. And you was in Saltbox, I believe, watching the game?
Yeah, I was. It was quite busy tonight.
Yeah. What was the atmosphere like in there?
It was, you know, when the goals went in, big cheers erupted from everybody. The last, I mean, I couldn't watch the last period. I was far too nervous. I ended up following most of it on Twitter, even though I had a TV above my head that I'd actually had the game on. Far too nervous, and just that last 5 minutes when the anticipation rose and rose, you could hear the buzz generate from the fans, and you know, people started singing and clapping and whatever. It was absolutely brilliant. I understand the Legend was absolutely packed tonight as well, and I imagine the atmosphere in there would have been unreal. I'm so proud of our team tonight. It's unbelievable.
And finally, we'll come to Andy.
Yeah, it was not bad, eh? That's
understated as ever.
Yeah, you know, I kind of felt a little bit like Aaron, but in the sense that I thought overall we were probably the better team, despite the lower ranking. But as always with these tournaments, you never quite know how games are going to go regarding not necessarily whether you're going to get dodgy refs or anything, but obviously with it being European leagues sort of style of play, it's a different style of refereeing, and you have to get used to it. Yeah. Obviously the ice has been well documented, hasn't been great, and you know, a couple of lucky bouncers, a couple of dodgy bouncers. You know, I mean, we were lucky that they didn't score in that first period. You know, I can only presume that he didn't get a clean shot on it because it was an open net, and he probably felt like he should have scored. But, you know, ultimately, we've done absolutely fantastic. You know, there's nothing short of it. And I think, as happy as we all are now, I actually don't think this will truly sort of sink in as far as our magnitude goes until, a few years down the line. I think, realistically, as great as it is at the moment, this is something that will be savoured for quite some time, and you know, we'll look back at this in 10 years' time or whatever, and just say, you know what, that was genuinely something quite special.
Okay. Yeah, I think if I can just put in there, I think what Andy is saying there is right. This is massive. Up until today, European ice hockey was European competitions was looked upon with suspicion, distrust. Oh, it's a waste of time. It'll end up ruining your season. It's a distraction. All this, that, and the other. That has just changed because we've proved we can go in. That a team from Britain can go in, and you can argue about the level of competition all night, but we've proved we can go in and win. A British team can go in and win in Europe, and that changes it completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got a message from Geraldine Ellis, who is listening to the show over in Written. So hello to everyone in Written who's listening. Hope you're having a great time. Yeah, don't get too drunk. You've got a mountain to go down. But she says,
get hammered. You'll be on a bus.
She says they're in the pub before we get our bus down the mountain. Amazing 3 days, and I mean, it's
going to be some trip in it on that bus.
But this is the thing as well, isn't it? I mean, we've all had the excellent webcast to watch. It's been provided in the Legend and the Saltbox, but can you imagine what it must be actually like to be out there?
Yeah. Well, knowing Geraldine, she would have had a few drinks by now, and she'll probably be at the front of the bus, jumping up and down and telling everybody to sing a song. So I am jealous of the people that have gone out there, including Geraldine. I think we all know people that have gone out, and they've been fantastic as well. I think you have to say, people talk about the best fans, and I don't really like, every GM, every coach say that they have the best fans. But what you can't deny is our fans follow this team to anywhere where they go. The first round, the second round, and the super final. We've outsung, outdanced every other team's fans. And that can't be underestimated as well. And I don't think the club do underestimate it. But, like Paul says, that will be one hell of a party on that bus.
Absolutely. If you want to get in touch with us while we're on air, you can do at Cats Whiskers TV. Send us a message if you're out in Written listening to this, or if you're just a happy, proud Panthers fan, or if you're a fan of any other team who's listening in. Just get in touch, and we'll try and get as many tweets in before the end of the show. Paul,
if you're bitter and disillusioned,
don't bother.
Send a message. No, I quite miss being like that. I want a bit of company. Sorry.
Just, I'll come back to something you said earlier, actually, Paul, which is about it's massive for British ice hockey. In what way do you think it's massive for British ice hockey as opposed to just the Panthers?
Well, I think it's like I said, it's we've done it, but we've proved because we're not that much different, better or worse or whatever than a lot of other teams in our league. So it's proving to them that they can do it as well. I'm not entirely sure clubs in the past, this will probably get me into trouble, but never mind, have necessarily taken it seriously. And we've discussed on here the pros and cons of whether we should be taking it seriously before, and I probably not necessarily thought we should have done, but I suppose tonight proves what you can do if you do take it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone else who's got any thoughts on how big this might be for British hockey?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think like Paul says, from an elite league point of view, it shows that anyone can do it. And, we've had teams in the past that have gone to super finals and they've come up short. I seem to remember Coventry got quite close one year.
Sheffield were the last elite league team to make the final in 2010, I think it was, and they finished third. They won one game. Prior to that, it was Belfast Giants who got to the final. I think they finished fifth because the final was slightly bigger, and then London Knights in 2000 came second. So that's the closest we've come. But
for some reason, I thought Blaze had got into the final.
I think Blaze got to the semis once, but I don't. But Blaze have never got as far as the final.
But obviously, I mean, apologies then for that. But I mean, ultimately, from a league point, obviously Paul's covered it. It proves that we can do it. It proves that we've got the resources. It proves we've got the teams. And also, one thing not to overlook is that we've done it away from home every time.
Yeah.
If I think realistically, you think of the rest of the league. If they can look at hosting it, then I'd put them. I'd back any team in our league to be favourites if they were hosting it realistically. But I think it's also bigger from an outside perspective, because it proves that we can mix. It proves that we can mix it, and you know, with these teams, and some of these teams are very good, and obviously they talk about you know, the fact that they only have like 5 imports in. Some of them have like the Italian team and stuff, but obviously, you know, the Italian national squad is currently, you know, it's a very good setup that they've got. So they're very good players still. And I just think that ultimately it does put us on the map. I think it shows that we are capable, and I think it shows the rest of the world that, you know what, the UK league isn't perhaps quite what we expected.
Another message come in from Rodney Rouse. He just says "championes," and I'm sure we can all agree with that one.
Yeah, and can we just thank him for getting Nicky for up to the airport?
Yes, yeah, top job, Rodney. And I'll come to you because I know this is something you've talked about in the past. There's just been a tweet gone out from the Champions Hockey League that we've just retweeted on the Cat's Whiskers. He says, they say, according to the rules, the invitation for the Continental Cup winners is subject to approval by the CHL board, so we have to wait for that. So it seems that our entrance into the CHL isn't guaranteed, and I know that was something you was really hoping for.
I'd be very disappointed if they turn around and change their minds now, just because it's a British team that's won it. I know I was having a conversation with a couple of friends from Sheffield last night who they understand that there's going to be some changes in the CHL this coming year anyway.
There's less teams next year. There's only 32 teams.
Yeah, so they were under the impression that if, with us being winners and we're from GB, that we'd actually, the GB, the Elite League would actually lose its CHL spot, and then we'd take that spot, which I don't think's right at all. I mean, if the CHL have set out from day one and said, look, the Continental Cup winners will get a CHL spot, for me, that's a completely different story to a regional league getting a Champions League spot. I mean, I know in total we've the Elite League's won 3 games over the last 4 years, whatever it is. How many games have the French teams won? Just out of interest.
Couple, I think, maybe 2 or 3, probably about the same.
I think we're actually doing better than, and they're ranked above us. So I'd be hugely disappointed if the CHL change their minds now.
Yeah. Okay. Just another question before we'll sort of start to wrap up. Tina, I'll come to you. How big is this for the Panthers?
Well, yeah, it's not a league title. You know, we need to, you know, get that elephant out of the room straight away. It's big because we've done it in addition to we've done these games in addition to our own domestic campaign. You know, we're still in the running for the Challenge Cup. We're in a decent position to be qualifying for playoffs. So there's 2 trophies that, you know, you can add on to the end of it. The league is looking unlikely, but then, you know, I don't think that's been any fault of the European Games. You know, we've had a fairly sustained run of bad results, which, you know, have been, some of those started before we even went out to Europe, and it's big. It is big. You can't take anything away from what we've done, what's been achieved here. It's, you know, we've gone out there, we've played, you know, all these teams that we know nothing about. You know, you play your domestic campaign, and you are seeing teams that sometimes, you know, you feel like you're seeing week in, week out, and you know that you plan for that. You know, you can coach for that because you think you know next weekend we're playing Belfast. It's like, okay, so we know Corey Nielsen has got a fair idea how Derek Walser coaches, and Derek Walser has got a fair idea how Corey Nielsen coaches, and the systems that each coach employs. They know each other, you know. And it's the same for when we play Fife. You know, Todd Dutum has been there forever, and Corey Nielsen has been with us a very long time. So in our domestic campaign, we are playing teams who are coached by people that we know. We've gone out to places that places we're unfamiliar with, to play teams we're unfamiliar with, and the coaches have had to deal with systems that they're not immediately familiar with. We have to play them for a while. Because if you sort of think back to the first round that we were in, some of those teams, I did some research for that, and that was blooming hard work. Getting any information about those teams that we played in Hacker was just a nightmare, because the information was just so sparse. So imagine, what the coaches had to go through trying to find anything out about how the teams play. That's just an example. You dig long and hard enough, and if you know the right people, then you can get hold of some information, I imagine, as a coach. But you've got to go out there and get it. This is not something that is readily available to you, and it's not. Playing teams that we just don't know. It's an unknown quantity. In essence, I think some of the teams that we've played, we've had to play a period against them to know what they're all about. So, you just have to. If we've been able to play our game, great. But I imagine there's been some games that we haven't been able to play our game, and we've had to adjust. To match what's in front of us, and we've done it that many times that we've won a trophy.
Andy, I'll come to you, and it's something we spoke about during the game on WhatsApp. But is this Corey Nilsson's defining moment?
Yeah, I think it probably is. He's now officially. Ultimately, apart from the CHL, I suppose, but I still think as a league we are light years behind that. I think realistically he's won everything now. To me, and I'm sure that some people might disagree, he's been the best coach the Panthers have ever had. But for me now, I think he's probably the best coach that the Elite League's ever seen. Because he's done it all. And yes, people will always say, "Well, he's only won one league championship in his 10 years or however long it's been," but he's consistently won trophies now, and you cannot ignore the haul of trophies that he has brought in as a coach. And obviously, this one now for me is, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's as big as the Elite League. But I think the reason why it's not as big as the Elite League is because of how long it took us to win it.
Yeah.
I think if we won, the Elite League 3 times every 10 years, I think this is the biggest trophy we've ever won. But the fact that it was 1956 since we last won it, and it was so long before we won it again, I still think that will always eclipse this. But I certainly think that realistically. We've created history, and the guy, has come under a lot of flack over a lot of seasons, but he's consistently delivered, and I personally am, forever thankful for it, because before him, yes, we won a couple of trophies with Mike Ellis and one with Paul Adey, but even in the short time that I've been coming, it was a real, rarity to see us lift a trophy, and now it's become a regularity, and that is a luxury that as a fan you really need to appreciate, because you never quite know how long it's going to last.
Yeah, tweet from Kim Williams just on that point that Ant's just sent. She says, "It's just occurred to me, Nilsson needs to win one more pot with us, and his sides will account for 50% of the trophies that we've ever won." And that is an incredible statistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that some people's priority list regarding, what they want out of ice hockey, whether that's just the league titles, whether that's just entertainment, whether that's just good teams or battling performances, or just trophies. I'd like to think that the general fan wants a combination of all of them, and to me, what the man has achieved whilst with the Panthers is nothing short of spectacular. he is a Panthers legend.
Okay. Just quickly to wrap up before we finish, and Aaron, you've not spoken for a while, so I'll come to you first. Yeah, what can this do for the rest of the season?
Oh, there's a question. It's quite funny. Sorry, I was on Twitter as you all were talking because I saw that Kim Williams tweet, and somebody who I won't name has sent a tweet. Somebody that I would say a Panthers basher. You've made me laugh with your tweet that you said. Jealousy is a lovely trait. What can it do for the rest of the season? Could do anything. I mean, Tina was talking about the trophies that they're. I mean, look, I think it could be a springboard. It really could be. I don't think we're certainly not title favourites. But I mean, come on, the kind of ambition should be there now. The drive, the determination. This team will go down as history makers. Like Paul said at the very start, nobody will ever take that away from this team. Whatever happens in the remainder of the season, this team, the names on this roster will be written in history. So I think it could be massive. I think we're still in with a shout. Like I say, we're certainly not title favourites, but do you know what? What do you want to do? You could go and win 5 trophies if you count the conference. It's I would say the world is this team's oyster at this precise moment in time, because how they must feel, I can't imagine to a certain degree, because they've done it all together. It's been a real team effort. They've gone through 3 rounds, an extra round, like Tina said earlier. The group should be there, and the determination for the coaches as well. Andy talked about Corey Nielsen. I fully agree with everything that Andy said there. But he has done everything. And I know he's got another year next year. But really, this, you could really end this season winning everything. And I know it's going to be difficult, and there will be teams out there in our league that are willing and wanting to stop us. But really, I think it is their oyster. They've shown that they can stay disciplined. Our special teams, when they're on form, are, very, very hot. Why not? Why not go and set the bar a little bit higher for this season and win some more trophies? But first, we need to celebrate this one.
Yeah.
And, that everybody deserves to do that, fans and players and coaches, organisation.
And your feelings?
Pretty much same as Aaron, really. Let's enjoy this. Whatever happens from here on out, nobody can take this away from us. It's a historic moment for UK ice hockey. It's a historic moment for Panthers hockey. I'd love it to be a springboard now for us to go on a massive, long unbeaten run, and let's create miracles. And Paul, one of my friends, is shaking his head at me. He disagrees with what I'm saying, but massive long unbeaten run now. Who's to say we can't pull ourselves back into the title picture? I am that happy, I'm that delirious at the moment that I believe this team could do anything.
Okay. And I think, on that note, I think we will leave it there for this special podcast, just to get our reaction as Panthers make history. So I want to say thank you very much to Paul Balm.
No problem. See you.
Antoine Marie-Jeanne.
Take care of yourself and each other, and celebrate well.
Tina Taylor.
TTFN signing off as champions of the Continental Cup. Hurrah.
Aaron Lord.
We are the champions.
Enough.
My friend.
Enough. I feel a bit disappointed with my thank you.
And we'll keep on fighting till the end.
And there goes
Goodbye, everybody.
There goes the listening figures off a cliff. And finally, Andy Haywood.
Good night.
Thank you to you for listening. As I said, we will be back at 8:45 p.m. tomorrow live. We'll be looking back at all 3 games of the Continental Cup in a bit more depth. But for now, from a very happy Cat's Whiskers crew, we just want to say thank you very much for listening, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.